Good day, everybody. I'd like to start this video with a heated discussion of a video that never gets old. Does anybody remember this show, The Doctors, where you had sexy douchebag doctor number one and sexy douchebag doctor number two, where we put on our scrubs and we go on camera and we talk and we look sexy doctors, overlook the fact that nobody even, this is just what they were trying to do is brand the face of medical with if I look good, I know what I'm talking about. Sorry, people, but these douchebags were part of the problem whenever we had this thing that, I guess we could call it a lab leak. Mainstream media right now is just now picking up on the fact that it was a lab leak. The only problem is, though, is allegedly that fact is a bit skewed. I can't. Lab leak. That's like I would consider that lab leak the same thing as if you were to take the valve stem out of a tire intentionally as the air leaks out and be like, oh, look, the tire sprung a leak. It was totally not intentional. How about that? Can we do that? Anyways, check this out. This video just popped up and I replayed. I'm like, memories. But here we go. This is why RFK Jr. is, really trying hard. The media won't even report on what he's doing. But here you go.
In my opinion, and this is just me wanting to have an open debate about this, vaccines are really the one thing we have looked at as causing autism.
I agree with you. That is completely bogus. That is such a bogus statement. How many vaccines have they looked at in these studies? How many? What's the answer? It's 2. How many ingredients have they studied of 35? What's the answer? It's 1. You've looked at 2 of 36 shots and 1 of 35 vaccines, and you're going to stand on the stage and say that vaccines and autism are unrelated? It is the most bogus tobacco science. It's a smokescreen. Anybody who takes the time to read it would agree. I'm so sick of doctors who don't read the studies, who don't know the details, sitting here telling parents and reassuring them that vaccines don't cause autism. It is irresponsible.
And this is the biggest problem.
So here we go. This is where things get a little bit wonky. You have now stolen the stage from the sexy doctors because basically they've never done any research. They were just pretty much repeating everything that they've been told, or so they believed. And you got a man on the opposing side who brought facts of stuff that he looked into and numbers before they've been completely erased so that they could avoid any kind of prosecution because everybody's been pardoned for stuff that they didn't do. He goes into a, how dare you make me look bad in front of all these ladies? You make me look bad. He gets really angry and starts attacking the dude and saying that, how dare you come after me? He didn't come after him. He said that you were wrong. And there was no way to dispute that because the guy would have to go back and actually do the research. And if he did, he would find out that his statement that he said to millions of people at the time watching this, all these stay-at-home moms who are fantasizing about being with somebody other than their husband because they're just sitting around, I want to be with the sexy doctors that don't know what they're doing. He gets really irate. It's crazy. Watch this.
And the reason that doctors in this country are frustrated because
science.
Listen, all you're doing is you're antagonizing a medical community that wants to help these kids. You're antagonizing me. You're antagonizing Dr. Sears. Why would you do that? This show is all about my son. Okay, everyone wants to blame someone, right? Yes. This is what we're trying to figure out here is how to help kids. But all you do when you yell at me on my stage, all you do is anger me and make me
know the details.
I asked you.
He's right. He didn't know the details.
Your stance, and all you did was attack me.
Doesn't attack me. Make me look bad. Ego is a heck of a thing sometimes. Ego really gets in the way of making really good decisions. It's almost like it's an emotional reaction instead of actual educated standpoint. Yep, he didn't like the fact that if he made himself look bad. He made himself look bad, and they cut the other dude's mic so he couldn't get his voice out. But it's true. You go back and look at this, you're going to find out what you said was wrong. And there's, that's where we're at. But anyways, I want to go into check this out. Let's go into this over here. Let's do this. We're going to talk about what happens to people whenever they. So, this Obama judge, Xinis erupts on Trump admin over discovery dispute in Kilmar Abrego case. I know we kind of like, we've been beating this a lot, but this is a big deal. And I just read in an article today, too, that the North Carolina Supreme Court's halting the curing of ballots because Allison Riggs' attorneys asked them to stop. The Democrat side that's losing right now because they understand that it looked like after 2 weeks of counting ballots, all of a sudden she pulls ahead by a small margin of victory. And then, the Republican side goes, wait a minute, something's not right. We've done a recount, just a typical normal recount. These things, none of this stuff looks right. What's up with this? And they really want to they're really pushing hard for state Supreme Courts. They're working the grassroots level so hard to try to get activist judges because they understand that this is how they're going to turn around their voter base by injecting and bringing in all these illegals and injecting all these different aspects of ways to regain power because they can't do it legitimately because they're standing for a side who's globalist, who wants depopulation and other terrible things to happen. And we don't want that. And so the only way for them to be able to regain power is to do awful and nasty tactics that fall under the guise of somewhat activist lawful intent. I might word that wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. This Xinis penis lady is mad because she's trying to get discovery of information about illegals being deported, and she's being headed off by bureaucracy. I read the article, and I'm like, you don't like that very much, do you, lady? And my response to that is, well, F you, because we've been trying to do that with many instances when it became problems in 2020 with elections, problems in 2022 with elections, problems with the fact that they were importing all of these illegals. Trump had put a Truth Social post out saying Biden just imported millions and millions and billions of illegals with no pushback from the courts one bit. So, as a matter of fact, made court wins against the United States when states tried to defend their borders, like Texas and all the illegal flights going in midnight, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning at the dead of night where they could be smuggled in. No, nothing, not a thing, just not a peep, just crickets. And then next thing you know, you're looking at a man who's trying to do a lawful purge of these people who were here illegally, especially ones that committed violent crimes and have not been detained by any kind. ICE has not been informed. Activist states are harboring fugitives, and you've got activist judges who are backing these people up. And she's mad because she can't get some discovery of evidence and going to try to raise a little bit of, like, oh man, well, we don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Welcome to our world. How about that? You don't like it very much, do you? Davos tyrant has fallen from grace. Klaus Schwab looks like he's going to be, he stepped down, but now he's completely out. And they say it's due to financial and ethical misconduct. So you don't say. You don't say. You mean to tell me an organization that's based on evil, tyrannical ways and overtaking things in ways that are very subversive and trying to maneuver people's financial gains to their own aspect. This guy is actually doing something weird with money. Who would have thought? Kind of funny in a way. The only problem that you're looking at is they've brought in a guy who's the CEO of like Nestle Corporation, which has got their hands on a lot of different products, not just chocolate bars, but just Nestle. They're just all over the place when it comes to the food and other products as well. And that guy that's taken his place has been an advocate for bringing in privacy of water rights. In other words, if you own a piece of property and you have a well on it, and you're able to you pump your own water because you're not. That's just a lot of people did that. You don't own that, not anymore. You will be. Your well will be metered, your water would be restricted, and you will be charged for it, and you will not own the water or mineral rights on your property. Yeah, that's the new guy. So people are like, well, the Pope's dead, kids are safe now. I'm like, oh, no, So, yeah, the Pope died. Yeah, kids are a little safer at the moment. But the problem that you're running into is that they're going to put somebody in way worse. You can bet your snooty patootie on that. Yeah, this is what they this is the celebration. Or, I mean, sorry, whatever you want to call it for the Pope. What do you call this? What is this? I don't know what is this. Oh my goodness. Yeah. They've got upside down crosses, and I did a little research into why they did that, and it has something to do with the way that the Catholics believe that Christ or Jesus wasn't actually crucified. It was this other dude, and he was crucified upside down, and so there's a lot of layers to this, but basically looking at the direction of the Catholic Church and all the people that this totally not kid-sniffing Pope put in place to be next in line. Get ready for some real crazy Catholic stuff. Traditional Catholics, by the way, up under the Biden regime, were labeled as a domestic, terrorist group. Much like they were categorized that as much as they did the people who voted for Trump, the MAGA people. They considered those people a terrorist group, violent extremists, because they're always doing that. I'm just kind of, haven't seen it yet, but they're always doing it. They're going to do it any time. Like, who was it? Was it big old F.U. Whoopi Goldberg that said, they're up on the hill training in the woods. And then come to find out, every time we see some kind of violent extremist act pulled on people, it's their side. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So anyways, so how do you end this? I don't know. I really don't know. But anyways, I just know there's some weird stuff about to be popping off. And we need to stay adamant. And like I said, if you can share this stuff out, just kind of get the word out. Ended on some weird stuff. Take it easy, guys. I'm going to take us out on some weird stuff. Take it easy. Woo.